there's three things that I've learned over the many decades of working in radio and then as a podcast host and as a coach and all that. The three things that we care about as human beings is health, number one, wealth, and love. Mm-hmm. If you can have a business that provides some sort of relief or support or improvement in those three areas, you're hitting the target. You're onto something. And health is the first thing. So this is a great analogy for your show and for your listeners. So for those, health coaches who think, well, who's going to listen to me? Or is the market saturated, right? Those type of things. There's always a market for you. There's always someone out there. And the thing is, you need to stand out. And because that's important. Doesn't matter if there's two health coaches out in the world, you need to stand out from that other person in some respect. And that's what I help my clients do.
Welcome to another episode of the Health Coach Academy podcast. I'm your host, Omar Cumberbatch of OmarCumberbatch.com. So excited for you to join me today. We have another amazing guest. Her name is Christine Blosdale, and she is really, really amazing. I really enjoyed this particular podcast so much because she is an expert authority business coach. And we always talk about how these particular markets could appear to be saturated. And the one way to get our name out there in the midst of a sea of other health coaches is really to establish our authority. So she really works with her clients to see how they can best utilize their innate skill sets to just stand out and get clients and really have successful businesses. So really enjoyed her. So as always, please leave a rating and review on iTunes. It goes a long way for me to be able to continuously get amazing guests like Christine and really just grow the show and help health coaches out in this space. So let's jump into it. Hey, Christine, how are you today? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Omar. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, no, I'm so excited to have you. Just so the audience knows, you are on the other side of the world and we're still rocking and rolling. We're in the future and you say we're still here. So that's good.
Yes. And so they know I'm in Australia, New South Wales, and we are still here. It's okay.
It's okay. Good to know. Good to know that the earth is still spinning. So I'm so excited to have you on the show. You offer something that health coaches need so badly, especially when they're starting out, right? It's interesting because we've had this conversation many times on the show, and I go back and forth with my theory about this because they say it's a saturated market, right? But I don't think it's a saturated market for a number of reasons. I think that there's more unhealthy people in the world than ever. So that's the first angle of it. And there's a lot of health coaches who just are health coaches. They get their certification and they just don't do anything with the certification. And it's in the attic somewhere and they shelve it, right? So I don't believe that, but they do say it's a saturated market because of the sheer volume of health coaches. And I really excited because you're branded as the expert authority coach. Yeah. So if we could get an authority behind us and establish ourselves like that, I think that you're going to be a world of wealth of information for us. So I want to just kind of start. How did you become this expert in this particular niche? And a little bit about your origin story.
Well, it's a long road. so I am currently, I have no problem saying how old I am. I'm 60 now, but I was in broadcast journalism. I was in radio for 20 years. And so I've seen every single pitch you can imagine, from publicists, from authors, from people who want to get on the radio. And this was in Los Angeles. So it was a very large market. And I had a drive time show. So of course, everybody I want to be on your show. I want to talk about whatever. Yeah. And so I've seen a lot of pitches and I know what works. I know what got my attention and made me hit that reply button in the email or call up somebody or call up a publicist or call up the person themselves. And that's after just years and years of knowing what people want, right? Mm-hmm. My audience was a very diverse audience, so I had to think about that. But there's three things that I've learned over the many decades of working in radio and then as a podcast host and as a coach and all that. The three things that we care about as human beings is health, number one, wealth, and love.
Hmm.
If you can have a business that provides some sort of relief or support or improvement in those three areas, you're hitting the target. You're on to something. And health is the first thing. So this is a great analogy for your show and for your listeners. So for those, health coaches who think, well, who's going to listen to me, or is the market saturated, right? Those type of things. There's always a market for you. There's always someone out there. And the thing is, you need to stand out.
Hmm.
And because that's important. Doesn't matter if there's two health coaches, out in the world, you need to stand out from that other person in some respect. And that's what I help my clients do. So I help them develop their expert authority, claim it, and say it, speak it, yell it out to the world in many different ways. Sometimes it might be, I might encourage them to create a podcast, and I show them how to record, how to edit, how to publish, all those things.
Hmm.
Other people, they're sitting on content that you wouldn't believe, and they've got bestseller books all around them. They just haven't gone and put them out there. So I might work with somebody and say, let's get you a best-selling book.
Hmm.
And then there's others who they are got such a personality and such dynamic energy that they need to be a TikTok influencer. And so I'll work with them on creating how to create videos and how to be yourself, how to be authentic and relatable, because that in 2025 and moving forward, that is key. Even if you've got your expert authority, you've got your credentials and your experience and your testimonials, you need to get out there. You need to say what it is that you do, how you help people. But most importantly, we are rewarding as human beings, we're rewarding authentic people and relatable people.
Hmm.
The days of, Dynasty and the Kardashians and all of that, and Hollywood is crumbling, as you can see it. That whole thing, the J Lo backlash. You name it. You're not Jenny from the block. I don't know. What's the orange soda thing, right? So, so that authenticity and being real is really important. So depending on the client, depending on the person, their personality, I'll work with them in different things, and we always go back to the foundation, which is your website and how that expresses your message, what you want to get across.
It's interesting you said Jenny from the block, because I was just at a, so my wife is from the Bronx, and we were actually at a function for it was like a basketball dinner for my daughter, and she's 8. There was like an award ceremony, and they were talking about all the Catholic schools in the Bronx that are closing. And Jennifer Lopez went to a Bronx school. It escapes my name, my memory now. But like you were saying, this authenticity. She has never gone back, apparently, to the Bronx to like save this, Catholic school that she grew up in. And it is a disconnect between like certain celebrities and the authentic
Yeah.
people, and people are really not happy with how we were admirable of people like that in the past, and now we're like really, lifting up the hood and finding out a lot of stuff that we're just not on board with anymore. So I
Yeah.
do have that vote of confidence that authenticity is going to be something that's moving forward.
Oh,
It's going to be so important.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it doesn't matter, whatever your skill sets are. Like I said, if you're someone who's has that outward personality, and if you're a health coach too, you really need to convey, how you're going to be beneficial to somebody. And I mean, one of the best ways, of course, is like through video content, because they can see your eyes, they can feel you,
Mhm.
they can feel if you're desperate or not as well, that desperation stink. And
Yeah.
so I work with my clients to develop some confidence as well, so that they don't have that on them, and they can go out in the world and they can say, I'm really good at what I do. And I would love to share that, with you, that type of message.
So what do you think is like that mindset block, right? So I
Mm,
know like we talk about a lot about the niche on the show, and that in and of itself is very difficult sometimes to just establish. I've had a lot of problems with that. I still think I'm not 100% sure. Like, I'm not 100% sure. I'm 100% sure, but I'm not 100% comfortable in just staying in a lane. And that's a whole other show.
Right.
Forget
Right.
about that. But yeah, what are you finding? Like, you get a client and their mindset block about
Mm.
why they may be not able to create that authority that they obviously have because they went through their certification, they've gone through their program, they have what it takes. What's that mindset?
Well, I can have all the tools in the toolbox that can help them, get out there, be it from podcasting or publishing a book or, doing TikTok videos and things like that. But
Mhm.
if you have a, a subconscious or unconscious belief that you're not worthy of success, that's one thing, or the dreaded imposter syndrome, which I find a lot with my clients who are women, um not as much as with men, and I think that's society. I think we tell our maybe our little boys, we say you can do anything, and then our little girls, we say something different, or the societal structure that we grow up in doesn't expect us to do certain things, right? So
Mhm.
we have imposter syndrome, and that is where we say, we know who's going to want to listen to me. We also are very critical of ourselves.
Mhm.
So when I tell clients, and many of my clients are women that are in their 50s, 60s, 70. I've got one that just came on board who's 82. Now
Nice.
she doesn't have a problem going on video. She's a spark plug. But there's others who are like, oh, I look old on video, or I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm too that. And that is the one of the biggest killers of creativity, and it stifles so many businesses that we try and get to that core. Even though I'm not a therapist or psychologist, we do try and get to that core story, because it's a story is what it is. Maybe somebody on the playground when we were 5 years old said something really rude, and we took it to heart, and we never really processed it, even if we've got degrees on the wall and lots of successes. So we do work with that, and I work with people on developing their confidence. And it's the focus is it's simple, but it's retraining our brain to not think about ourselves and how we're being perceived or judged, but focusing on the person that you want to service, the person that you want to help. If you focus on your audience more than how you're coming across or what you look like or what people will think of you, then all of a sudden you get out of your own way and you say, I need to do this to help, whatever population, I want to help, women who are overweight and they feel bad in their bodies, they feel uncomfortable, and I want to help them feel better. That's a simple thing. But you have to focus on that, the end result, them, as opposed to yourself. So there's a couple different steps we take, but it can be a challenge with some people. And then other people, when they realize, oh my gosh, I'm here to actually serve people and it's not about me,
Mhm.
then they get it, and then they can be successful.
It's interesting because I definitely hear imposter syndrome all the time, and I know so many people who have the credentials beyond belief, right? Like to the point where it's like you can't have any more credentials than
Right.
you have. It's
Right.
just like it gets insane that it has a negative return after a point, right?
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I do see that a lot, and it's interesting that you say women are dealing with it a little bit more than men because I think
Yeah.
I've had about an equal amount as far as men and women when that topic comes up. And I guess, what is the role of somebody who has that and they don't want to be on TikTok? I think social media like almost exasperates that situation.
Mm.
Do you have any suggestions for someone who maybe an alternate route instead of being on social media?
Yeah, because it's not for everybody.
Mhm.
And when I say TikTok too, I'm speaking about creating video content
Sure, sure.
in general. So that could be on Facebook. You'll reach more people if you do a Facebook reel as opposed to just posting a video on your personal Facebook page, because your aunts and uncles will like it, but not many other people will see it. But when I talk about creating video content, that's for all the social media platforms. So that'd be LinkedIn, which many people love, and I have a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn, but that's for LinkedIn, that's for Facebook, that's for Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. YouTube is rewarding shorts now as well.
Mhm.
So those vertical videos that in a couple seconds you capture somebody's attention and you give them some information or inspiration or motivation to do things, a challenge, those type of things. That's for one type of client who feels that they're ready for that.
Mhm.
I've got other ones who are that idea of that being on camera terrifies them.
Mhm.
So then I say, okay, let's take another avenue. And like I said before, many of us are sitting on a throne of content and a throne of bestsellers just waiting to be written. And so I'll take clients who have vast amounts of knowledge. They've done workshops and webinars, or they've either written themselves something, or they've spoken. They're on video. They've done presentations, and I'll say, let's write that book and let's make it a bestseller. And they'll go, but I'm not a writer. And I said, well, either am I. I have
Mhm.
5 best-selling books. I have an audio book as well, but I'm not a writer. I'm a talker.
Mhm.
So I find that there's amazing tools. There's AI tools that you can use. Thank goodness for artificial intelligence, because it can take what you've said and make you sound so good. And all of the books, I mean, even this is the last one that I've done, the social media and branding survival guide. This I I I wrote it. It's from me, but it's all the stuff that I've done in video, in workshops, and webinars, lunch and learns, all those things. So all of that content, I just took it and threw it into an AI system that makes it a good read, not a transcript, and self-published it and was able to do, a bestseller campaign around it. So some people are going to be those authors, those expert authority authors. Other people, they're going to be those expert authority podcast hosts
Mhm.
or a guest on podcast. And man, if you can be guests on podcasts like this show,
Mhm.
if you can get yourself out there, it's such good marketing, and people, it's not a soundbite. People actually get to hear you and feel you, and then maybe even trust you. And if you're in the health coaching industry, you know how important that is, that trust. They have to trust you because they're going to feel vulnerable sometimes.
Sure, sure. And I'm glad that you brought that up because I'm actually going to probably be releasing my first book
Yay!
in the next month and a half. And I know probably the audience is sick of it and it's like, okay, yeah, I've been kind of hinting at it, but it's done. There's a couple of things that are in motion. But I was going to say that one of the things that people may not realize, like even these opportunities where we're having a podcast, we're talking about a variety of subjects. But if you have a podcast that's a specific subject that you may be talking about frequently, the transcript, throwing that into an AI, and all of a sudden you have like a 200-page book that you thought you couldn't quote unquote write. But yeah, you weren't sitting down there and putting pen to paper necessarily, but you're almost
Yeah.
dictating exactly what the book would entail, and all of a sudden you have that content that's readily available. So I'm
Yes.
glad that you brought that up because I think people always struggle to think it's like, oh, don't have any content. So you have tons of content. You're having conversations
Yes.
constantly, and it's so yeah. No, I appreciate you bringing that up too.
Oh, I'm the queen of repurposing.
Yeah.
I have over my career, I have a lot more than 250 interviews that I've done because I did 20 years in radio, and unfortunately, I don't have the transcripts of those great interviews. And I've interviewed some amazing people, right? Just amazing people. But with podcasting, with my own podcast shows, and I've got 3 now. With those, I've got at least 200, 250 different episodes. And if I chose to, and I haven't done this yet, but if I chose to, I could break it down into categories where I've spoken to health and wellness experts, right? I can break it into another category where I've spoken to motivational leadership, thought leadership folks.
Right.
I could break it down into another one where I've spoken to a lot of marketing experts. So I have so many books that I could write
Right.
based off of those interviews. The key is just making it a good read as opposed to a straight transcript, right?
Right. 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 Right.
because you want it to be enjoyable. But there's so much content, and you can create with the stuff that you've done. You can not only create your book, you can create modules in a course if you wanted to. So there's so many things that you can do, and that's what I want to do with people, my clients and people who are listening right now. I want you to think outside the box, because we tend to live in a silo when we're a solopreneur or a, entrepreneur. We tend to just think very small. And what you want to think is big, and you want to think about all the stuff that you've already done and how you can turn that into gold,
Hmm.
right? That's the important thing. And then after you do your book, you can do your audiobook
Right, right,
because
right.
you got the microphone. You're all set.
Right, right, right. You know, so it's amazing that you're bringing this up. What have you felt, at least in what you've done, was the most successful thing up to this point as far as in the marketing world? Was it the book? Was it your three podcasts? Like, what
Hmm.
have you felt that has been the most impactful?
I think developing my own expert authority, over the years, the
Mm.
20 years of grunting it and sloshing it out in Los Angeles and driving in traffic, having a 3-hour round trip drive commute to work before I even got to be able to work. I think all those years and experiences have really helped me. But I know, and I'll say this as a former producer and host of a big show on radio, the bestsellers under my belt really helped.
Mm.
And it was a great feeling of accomplishment that first time that it hit number one. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a bestseller. And then it hit number one in Australia and in the US. And so on my bio and my website, I can say an international number one bestseller. And it just raises your expert authority, because people go, oh, she actually sat down and wrote, Omar sat down and actually wrote a book about this stuff. So he must know something about it, right? And if it went to number one, then, oh my gosh, he actually has something that resonates with people. So I think that is something that is probably that was a huge accomplishment, and I felt really good about it. Plus, I love creating, I love creating content, be it videos. I love my TikTok channel. If you look at it, it has very little to do with my business. It's mostly because I like doing funny, fun videos.
Yeah.
If I get a kick out of it and it gets 200 likes, great. If I do something and it gets 1,000 likes or whatever, great. I don't care. It's about having fun, right? That's my little hobby.
Yeah.
Is doing my TikToks. Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
love
awesome.
it.
So let me just get back to the book for 2 seconds. Like, what other opportunities has that afforded you? Obviously, create your authority around the subject. Has it created speaking engagements, more opportunities for podcasting? I think that's important for health coaches to actually see as it, what doors does that open up as well?
Well, anytime you have a book, even if it's not a bestseller, but if you've got a book, you have something that if someone wants to interview you, or if you're applying to be a guest on a podcast show, they have something tangible that they can actually read. If they go to your website and it's a blank page and there's not a lot on it, okay, you do need to spruce that puppy up,
Hmm.
because that's your business card. But if there's something that's missing from that website, and they're like, I want to get a little bit more, I want to understand a little bit more about this person and their expertise, a book is really great. And you can send it to them. You can send an actual physical book to them by gifting them through Amazon if you want.
Right.
You can send them, of course, a PDF if you wish. I like to, with people who that I know really appreciate, touching a book and not something electronic.
Yeah.
I'll actually send them one, because I get author copies for cheap, and I just pop it in the mail. I might even, write a little, thing in the front, sign it, whatever. And that impresses them, because somebody took the time to do it.
Hmm.
But those books have gotten me booked as a guest speaker at events, women in business events, networking events. It's gotten me on summits and panels.
Hmm.
It's gotten me on those. A lot of times I work with organizations that will have 20 or 30 different experts in their field, and will offer some sort of either a course or a book or something like that. And you'll be listed as an industry expert and you have some sort of gift that you're giving, a group of people or the whole group. Those type of things, they come from those, I believe they come from those books
Right.
because people go, wow, okay, she has follow through. It's kind of like when you get your degree,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because you graduate university or college doesn't mean that all these people are going to come out after you and say, I want to hire you. But what it tells your potential employer, it says they have follow through,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
They went through 4 years or 5 years, however long it took you to do this and to get a degree. And that means that they'll have follow through when they're working with us, right?
No. Yeah.
So that's how a bestseller works. It's kind of like your degree.
No, absolutely. So, I in my book, I'd share a little bit about what we were getting at, but we do talk about like methods of marketing that are actually effective for to be a health coach and what is that two drivers. But one of the concepts that I came up with is like the trinity of health coaching and marketing is, authorship, podcasting, and public speaking. For
Yeah.
whatever reason, those three, and I'm sure
Yeah.
there's other ones, but I just think in this particular time, you're really looked at as an authority just because you do one of those three things. It's like
Yeah.
podcasting seems easy, but I think Alex Hermosi says to be in the 1% of podcasting, you only have to have 21 episodes. I don't know if have you heard that before?
Oh yeah, no, I have. So because I train a lot of my clients to create a podcast, how to do it, and they'll say, and it's the number seven. It's basically the majority. There's like there could be 1 million or 2 million podcasts out there, but a lot of people by the episode 7, if they're not making a gazillion dollars off of their podcast, they quit. So
Right,
you'll
right.
see some shows it's like in 2019 or 2022, and there's 7 episodes,
Yeah.
because a lot of people quit. And the thing is that it's not going to be instant success,
No.
but you have to be consistent about it,
Hmm.
and you have to produce good content. That's really important. That's what I try to encourage people to do. But yeah, after 7, they're done.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's like it's actually shocking that, but I guess that's life, right? It doesn't happen overnight, right? And a lot of things that you do actually end up taking a look at, even if it's in fitness, like how many what's that turnaround time when someone stops going to the gym? It may be number seven.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of
Mm.
interesting how that goes. But yeah, no, it's very important, and I'm glad that you're helping some people get established, get past those magic numbers, and really get to a point where they're sustainable.
I equate when I'm working with somebody to create a podcast, I say it's like having a puppy.
Mm.
When we first get a puppy, we love that puppy, and we show them off, and we walk around, and we feed them little treats, and we get them little clothes, and we're just it's all about the puppy, right? And then when it turns into a dog, sometimes we go, hey, stop your barking, or we don't walk. We're not walking them. We're not bathing them all the time.
Yeah.
We're not putting little cute little ribbons on them, whatever. So your podcast is like your puppy. And after you can't just after 7 days just walk away from your puppy.
Yeah.
You need to feed it. You need to nurture it. And the thing is that I'm always adapting. I'm always changing. I change the theme music of my podcast. I change my intro every now and then. I change the cover art
Hmm.
because I'm changing. I'm growing, right?
Hmm.
So and you don't have to have one podcast. You can have several. Like I said, I've got 3, and they're all different
That's great.
because I have different interests. So I think it's important that people realize you don't have to be tied into something also for years and years and years. It can be a serial. You can do 12 or 15 episodes, but have it be, it's like a biography, it's like the life of Princess Diana. It doesn't go on and on for years and years. It's, she's born, she's raised, this is what happens. She meets up with Charles, this happens, this happens, this happens, and then there's an ending.
Right.
So you can do something that is specific, like steps or tips, if you want to. But the idea is that you can also have more than one podcast if you want. So if you have other interests. So with a health coach, You might be focusing in on one area with one podcast and then another podcast. It's still you're still the health coach and you're still promoting your business, but you're taking a different angle to it, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
I think that's
refreshing.
important.
Well, and that's refreshing that you're expanding on that because I do have two podcasts myself, and one of the things
Like,
that I find again in this Health Coach Academy podcast that's more on the business side of health coaching, that's the fear, right? Like it's like if I commit to something and we're very faithful individuals that you just have to stick in that lane till kingdom come, right? Um,
right?
and just that idea that you have to stick with it forever is paralyzing, right? So
Yes.
there's
Yeah.
no, some people are good with it. This is what I love, and they know their selves to that degree. But 99% of people are multifaceted and they have a lot of different interests and stuff like that. And it's
Yeah.
something that's very difficult to tie in.
Yeah. And you want to do things that when you do the things that you're passionate about, you have all the energy in the world and the patience. It's doing the stuff. And in business, there's things that you got to do that aren't so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm not super excited about doing my taxes, but I know I have to do them.
Yeah.
I reframe that because I used to say I have to do my tax. Every time I always hear people say I have to do my taxes, and I try to reframe it and say I get to do my taxes, which means I make enough money that I get to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
And I used to in the olden days when we didn't have all this electronic banking stuff too. I would write a check, right? I'd write a check to the IRS
Yeah.
and I would put in the note, because I'm a pacifist, I would put in the note, please use this money for good things to help people. Basically say, don't kill people with this money. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
please use this money, for the highest purpose possible. But yeah, I had that feeling of gratitude that I I made enough money that I get to pay taxes.
Right, right.
So it's just flipping the script a little bit on the things that we have to do and the things that we get to do.
Yeah. No, another mindset shift,
Shift. Yeah.
and very good advice. So,
Thank you.
Christine, you've been fantastic, and I know that we
Thank
probably
you.
just show like an umbrella of things because
Yeah.
I do want to give you an opportunity to kind of just tell us what you specifically do. I kind of definitely hinted it because you definitely take a person and really show them how to become that expert authority in their field by a
Yeah.
variety of different things. So, if you could
Yeah.
just tell us a little bit about how to get in touch with you if they have any,
Sure. Sure.
and social
So
media handles, all that good stuff.
if you're overwhelmed and you feel stretched by all of the things that you need to do to run your business, to run your health coaching business, I would like to alleviate some of that stress. I do offer a free strategy session for those that are interested in talking to me. It's recorded for you, and so we'll go over where you're at, where you want to be, what's holding you back, and I can give you some ideas depending on your personality too, what things I think would be a good direction for you to go. And I just created actually a really cool um, quiz. It's your expert authority status quiz, and so you can. There's 10 questions, and they're fun to answer, and you can take the quiz and find out what your expert authority is, what level, where you're at.
Mhm.
And if you're in the beginners stages, or if you are an established expert authority, you kind of get a little bit of rating, and it's a fun way to check yourself and important questions that you need to ask yourself no matter what kind of business you're in. And that's all available at my website, which is expertauthoritycoach.com.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, definitely excited to take that quiz in my.
Yes.
Now, the audience will surely do so as well. Any help that we can get as far as health coaches just starting out, we appreciate it. So that sounds like an awesome tool and an awesome resource that we can, get some clarity. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to taking it myself.
I'll send you the direct link. You can start taking it now.
Yeah. All right, listen,
Thank you.
Chrissy, you've been fantastic. So appreciate you taking the time, and,
Thank you, Momar. Thank you.
and we'll be in touch soon.
Absolutely. All right, love. Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode of the Health Coach Academy podcast. If you did, jump over to iTunes and leave a rating and or review. It goes a long way in helping get this message out to our fellow health coaches and people in our industry. Also, if you can, jump over to my website, omarcumberbatch.com, where I give out a lot of freebies, including my 5-day sugar challenge for people who are having issues with sugar. And also for health coaches, I have the book, Hidden. It's the 6 not so obvious ways to get your clients unstuck. Have a great day.